For this edition of Murfreesboro Storytellers, we're coming to you from the Dean A. Hayes Track and Soccer Stadium on the campus of MTSU. And the occasion of being here is Spring Fling, one of the big events during the year, sponsored by the TSSAA and put together, produced, if you will, by the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce. And we have as our special guest Barbara Wolke, who is the Vice President for the Convention and Visitors Bureau for the Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having me.
This must be the culmination of a lot of work.
Oh, it is, John. We start planning for the event immediately after we hosted it last year.
I see.
Yes.
How many years will this be that it's been here?
This is the 10th year that we have hosted it, and we are actually the longest running host. TSSAA has been doing this Olympic-style spring sporting event for 22 years, and Murfreesboro has played host for 10 years.
10 of the 22.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand one of the few states in the country that has such an event.
That is correct.
Now, Barbara, you have to recruit a lot of volunteers to help you do this.
We do, John, and approximately 6 months ago, we started working on the volunteers, and we work with many civic clubs and groups that help us with this event. A lot of senior citizens, and actually we work with the Moose Lodge that has been with us all 10 years, and I was talking with one of our volunteers today, and they logged their hours of volunteers, and I asked her, I said, just approximately how many hours over the past 10 years has your group worked? And she said approximately 15,000 hours.
My word, that's
and that's just with one group.
That's phenomenal, just for one group. Barbara, you use facilities of the public schools here, MTSU, the high schools?
That is correct. We have 13 different venues that we work with.
And they're lined up for this entire week, I presume, or most of the week?
Most of the week, yes.
How many volunteers would you use?
We work with over 1,000 volunteers.
Over 1,000, that's wonderful. Wonderful event. This must have a tremendous economic impact to Murfreesboro and Rutherford County.
It does, John. The TSSAA Spring Fling alone is a $3.5 million impact. When you look at all of the TSSAA events we work with, we start in January with bowling and we end in November or December with a cheer and dance. And over the past 10 years, if you add just two of those events, the basketball Boys and Girls Championships and the Spring Fling Championships for the past 10 years, it is an estimated $70 million over the past 10 years.
The economic impact to the community there.
That is correct.
And this must have a direct impact, or if you will, or indirect, I guess you'd call it, on the taxes that we have to pay.
It does. For 1 year in Rutherford County, the tourism economic impact is $291 million. Tourism generates 2,250 jobs each year, $44 million in payroll, and travel-related payroll, that is, and $6 million in local taxes.
Barbara, what do you do? What are the efforts you have to expend to be able to get these events to come here, other than the sporting events, but bringing in a convention or a district meeting, a regional meeting? I'm sure this takes a lot of contact work over the year.
It does. We participate in many trade shows throughout the year. We focus our efforts on all markets, including your conventions and conference market, your sporting events, and your group tours.
So you'll be on the road for a lot of those events, I'm sure, to make your contacts.
Yes, we are.
The facilities, not just the athletic facilities, but the hotel and motel accommodation certainly have increased tremendously in recent years.
Yes, it has. We have over 4,000 hotel rooms in the area and 350 restaurants. And when you look at facilities like MTSU that we have to offer here, they have been a wonderful partner with world-class facilities with the Richard Soccer Park, as well as the new indoor tennis courts that will soon open, giving us 32 courts at one site will enhance our ability to attract more regional and national events.
Where do you have the tennis events now?
They are at Old Fort.
At Old Fort Park, on the outdoor courts. Yeah.
That is correct.
Okay, now you'll have the indoor facility. Which
yes, we will.
Any other additional sports you see coming into view as part of any events being held here?
Yes, actually, Smyrna has seen a lot of activity. A couple of weeks ago, we hosted our first open paintball event. So we're hoping that that we will that will open the door for other state and regional paintball tournaments.
I never thought about that being a tournament.
Yeah.
How many participants did you have?
About 500.
From all over the state? Or?
Yes.
Yeah. What other, any other additional competitions you think you might bring into the community?
Well, we are working with MTSU and the organizers to host on August 22nd the Middle Tennessee Football Classic. So that will bring a couple of powerhouse teams from Alabama to play Oakland and Blackman, and we're expecting about 6,000 to 8,000 people for that. Estimated, of course, because it's our first year to host something.
And this will be at Horace Jones Field then?
That will be held right here at the stadium at MTSU.
Wonderful. Well, that's a good addition to the community. Another tourism plus for the local community.
Yes.
Anything else that's on the docket?
Well, we are working with a few other sporting events. We work with the Tennessee State Soccer Association every year. The Spring Bash in the Borough, the Fall Bash in the Borough soccer tournaments are held at Richard Siegel Soccer Park. And yes.
Did we mention the TSSAA in a TSSAA soccer event in the fall?
That is correct. We will host the TSSAA Soccer Championships in the fall.
Those at Siegel?
That's Richard Siegel Soccer Park.
Richard Siegel Soccer Park. How many folks will that bring in?
I think it brings in about 30 teams and their parents, fans, and 25 to 30,
Barbara, with the additional hotels here, I can see certainly the opportunity for many more other kinds of meetings, regional meetings with the Embassy Suites and the other new hotels that have been added there. You really have, as you mentioned earlier, many more rooms available. Do you see other smaller conventions coming in here?
We do. We actually work with the National Guard Association for their annual conference. And that is held at the Embassy Suites Hotel and Conference Center. And
was this year the first year for that?
No, we will host this event through 2018.
Okay.
And we've hosted it for the past 8 years.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to continuing hosting that. And with the new hotels right there near the Embassy Suites, it certainly is an attractor for conferences because what they like to see is hotels within walking distance of the conference center.
You have the 3 additions and another, I believe, under construction by Embassy Suites.
Right, and the Holiday Inn with a full service restaurant and meeting space will open next month.
Okay. What is the one that's under construction now?
That is the Holiday Inn, and we recently broke ground on the Courtyard by Marriott.
The Courtyard by Marriott.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
And this gives you how many hotel rooms, you say?
Well, right now we're just a little, I think 4,006 rooms, so that'll put us up another couple of hundred when those open.
And I'm told that this week there's not a hotel room available.
There is not a hotel room available. Actually, some of the participants and families are staying in Mount Juliet in Lebanon.
My word.
Yeah.
It shows how it continues to grow.
Yes, it does.
As far as the Convention Visitors Bureau, what other activities are you involved in?
Well, our Convention and Visitors Bureau, we are the marketing arm for tourism in Rutherford County. So we streamline our marketing efforts to bring in more tourism-related activities. We are funded by the hotel tax in Rutherford County, so it's very important that we keep increasing that.
Do you also work on developing the various printed materials that are used in your tourism, like the maps? Listing the restaurants?
We design all of our marketing materials in-house. Stacy Pierce is our marketing director, and we have a 4-day itinerary that is our marketing piece that we use when we do the group tour operator shows, and that's of course highlighting our attractions and restaurants and hotels. We also put together the maps that we place on the TSSAA website, and we have a visitor's guide that is our primary marketing piece. Yes.
You mentioned the tourism tour director conventions and meetings that you have. Do they come in here, various operators come into the community and meet together, and you have a chance to make a presentation to them? How does that work?
Actually, we do appointment shows where we go and present to them, and we'll have 7 minutes to sell Rutherford County, and we usually have anywhere from 30 to 60 7-minute appointments at these shows.
Okay. And where are they held?
They're held all over the United States.
Oh, okay.
And,
I see.
Yes.
And then that'll hopefully engage them to be able to sell to their customers, their clients coming here for a meeting then, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, for meeting planners. How do you work with the rest of the Chamber of Commerce staff or the other departments, divisions of the Chamber?
Yes, well, we are, the Convention and Visitors Bureau operates under the umbrella of the Chamber of Commerce. So we work closely with the other departments, the Economic Development Department. Of course, tourism is economic development.
Certainly is.
So we work hand in glove with the Economic Development Department, and as the hotels come in, of course, we work together. You know, they will send those groups to us because they have a lot of questions about the tourism economic impact before they decide to purchase land and build.
When the industrial prospects are coming into the community, are they interested in other, like the events that you put on? Is that a factor at all in them considering us for a location?
With the hotels, it is because, of course, when the tourism economic development, you know, that number is very important to the hotels.
Okay. All right.
And the hotel occupancies, and yes, so.
Barbara, there are lots of activity where we're located here on the campus during the Spring Fling. Tell us where we are now. What are these students doing in this particular part of the location?
Well, this is actually the participants' entrance, and their families are allowed in this area without purchasing a ticket.
Okay.
So they can come in and put up their tents and bring their coolers in and keep their athletes hydrated, and yes.
Okay. So they are all having a lot of activities, getting ready for the event they're going to participate in.
That is right. And the competitors' gate is just over there, so that's where the competitors will enter.
Tell me about your staff. How many folks you have working with you?
Well, we have 4 with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and Wendy Bryant is our communications director, and Wendy will work with groups like the TSSAA to get out press releases. We work with Media Hub on that. She has thousands of contacts where she can get out, of course, the press release out on that. Stacy Pierce is our director of marketing, and she does all of our marketing pieces. And we also have Donna Klimpnow, who is the director of sales, and she will work with the TSSAA staff on the room blocks for not only the teams, but we house a lot of officials and VIPs and media, and so that's important to make sure that all of those rooms are well taken care of.
Does the school get in touch with you or tell you how many rooms they want, and then you all make the arrangements for them, or do they make the reservation? No,
actually, with almost 5,000 athletes and the fact that there's not really a cutoff date on the hotel rooms because they qualify so late, they contact the hotels direct to make their room arrangements.
Okay.
But if they have a hard time finding rooms, they have our phone number.
Then you're available.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Even in surrounding towns, if you're full up here, I presume.
We do. And what we do, John, right after the event, we'll send out a sales lead to all of the hotels and block rooms a year out so that we can secure those rooms.
Okay. So they are available. Then you know they're going to be available even for next year as soon as this is over.
Right. We place the hotel list on the TSSAA website with instructions on how to book those rooms.
Barbara, tell us about yourself. How long have you been with the Chamber?
I have been with the Chamber for 11 years.
And Vice President of the CVB for how long?
A little over a year.
Okay.
Yes.
And it must be a challenging event and an exciting event to be able to take part of the Spring Fling and everything else that you do during the year, all the various events.
It is, John, but the most exciting part about it is after all the planning, you know, you come out and you get to watch the event unfold, and you get to see some of the best athletes in the state.
Oh, wonderful.
So.
Yeah, very good. And before the Chamber Convention Visitors Bureau, where was Barbara?
I was director of sales with the Holiday Inn,
Okay.
and I was previously also a sales manager at the Holiday Inn in Brentwood. I worked at the Holiday Inn here in Murfreesboro for 6 years.
And now we have a new Holiday Inn back on the not off the drawing board, back on the location.
We certainly do, and we're excited about that.
Well, it must give you, as you say, a great deal of pleasure to see an event unfold and be successful, and just to be around young people. It's a good feeling always, I think.
That is right, John. And I would like to mention to the viewers, because of this tourism economic impact at $291 million, each household in Rutherford County sees a tax relief of $240 each year. And if tourism went away, then of course, you know, that tax relief would not be there. Mm-hmm. And when these events come in, it is truly the cleanest dollar that we make. We don't, you know, these visitors come in and they drop $3.5 million in our lap. We don't have to educate their children or build roads for them. They come home, they spend their money, and they leave. So
it's a great experience.
Yeah.
Well, Barbara, we thank you very much for joining us for this edition of Murfreesboro Storytellers. Congratulations on the great job you do with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and in particular, the 2015 Spring Fling, where we're located.
Thank you, John. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you, Barbara Wolke. All right, we'll be right back in just a moment with another special guest here at Spring Fling. And we're back now with Richard McWhirter, who is the Assistant Executive Director of the TSSAA. Richard, this Spring Fling is quite an event.
It's a big event. We're one of the only states that actually bring every sporting event for spring sports to one city. There are a lot of states around that look at what we do to see if they can accomplish it, and so far they haven't. We're one of the few that do that.
That's what I understand. I imagine it takes quite a bit of planning and coordination.
Quite a bit. Barbara with the Chamber does a super job of getting the volunteers, and then we come in and basically run the events with our officials and so on. For the track event itself, we're close to 80 officials we bring in, and then each sport has their individual number of officials they bring in.
And these teams and schools that are represented here from all over the state?
All over the state, yes. We'll have a little over 1,000 athletes just here at the track, and then we have 24 baseball teams coming in, 24 softball, same in soccer, and so on, and their team events, where ours is the individual event.
Is there a qualification event that brings them here?
Yeah, they all would go through their regions and then their sections to advance. So these are all the winners that got out of their sections.
Just like in football and basketball.
Basketball, all the same setup, yes.
Similar levels, how many people would you think this brings to the community other than the athletes?
Well, athlete-wise, we anticipate about 2,500, and normally I would say that'd be about 25,000 fans that come that follow with them. You know, your team events are going to get more of your schools back ends where the students come.
Sure.
Your individuals are going to be mostly your parents and stuff.
Do they go on to any other competition from here?
Oh, this is it.
State level?
You win the state championship, you're crowned champion.
Yeah, this is quite an achievement. TSSAA has quite a record in the state of Tennessee for conducting high school athletics.
Yes, for high school athletics, we are the sole person that's in charge, and basically we run all the events, and we try to find cities that are located at a place that everyone can get to without driving a long distance, but also where we can work with the communities to host the events. And Murfreesboro does a super job with not only Spring Fling, they do girls and boys basketball for us, and they also do girls soccer in the fall for us.
The TSSAA has a great record, as you said, of conducting the athletic events in the state. How large a staff is there at TSSAA?
Our staff, we have 12 full-time employees, and that is it. A lot of people think our staff is huge. It is not. We have 12 full-time employees that are at the office, but you got to remember, we have in each sport supervisors across the state that basically train officials and get officials ready for and watch officials during their competition. When they're officiating, that help us through the state and recommend people to come to the state championships for us.
Richard, what is the biggest challenge you have in putting on this event?
Biggest challenge is for outdoor events would be with weather, and you can kind of tell it today. It has turned cool. First time in May it's ever been this cool for Spring Fling that we're aware of, but you know, when the rain comes in, we do have a lightning policy. If lightning comes in, we must stop for 30 minutes until the lightning is cleared. Track had a lightning delay on Monday. Last night soccer had a little lightning delay, so that's probably the biggest challenge for us for outdoor events. But you know, when you're dealing with volunteers and just getting people to help, I mean, it takes hundreds and hundreds of people to run events like this.
And the weather is something over which you have no control.
No control over it. Even in basketball, talking about that earlier, you know, we had a snow day in basketball this year. First time in the history of TSSAA that's ever snowed. Had to delay a day because of snow here in Murfreesboro. But you know, you just can't control the weather, but you know, got to kind of work with it. So
now, how long is Spring Fling scheduled to be in Murfreesboro?
It is in Murfreesboro for this year plus 2 more.
2 more years.
We do classification for TSSAA is every 4 years, and we do all of our contracts for 4 years because it's hard to go farther than that, because if you do, the board may change the number of classes we have and divisions and so on, so we only go through classification so that when cities bid on things like this, they know exactly how many athletes, how many championships we're going to have.
Now, cities have to put up a financial amount of
For major events, football, basketball, Spring Fling, yes, and Barbara and them bid on it. This is actually, she would have to tell you how many years that they've had it. I'm sure she has, but but they will bid again, I'm sure, and some other cities will. But it's hard to beat Murfreesboro when it comes to Spring Fling because it's the facilities they have are so nice.
Yeah, we continue to add excellent athletic facilities and have more hotels and motels here to accommodate all the visitors that are here. And I was told by a friend earlier this week that there was not a hotel room available for this week.
That normally happens for Spring Fling, yes. At my hotel last night, actually, I was walking down in the lobby and a man walked in just to get a room, and they're like, "You're not getting a room probably in this city this week."
Yeah,
so.
until after Saturday, The central location certainly gives us an advantage, I'd say.
Yes, it does. And the facilities. I mean, the MTSU's facilities are top notch, and then the other parks we have to use for baseball and softball, they do a really good job with.
Hard to beat Murphy Center for
an
athletic facility for sure. How many more years are the boys state and the girls state tournaments committed for?
Basketball, 2 years, everything through classification.
Okay, it's all in the same 4-year period.
Yes, this will go through 2016, 17 school year.
Okay. If you had anything else to make it an even better facility, or do you have any particular desire or wishes or something you would like to have for the events?
Probably not, because you know, again, they have all the softball fields together, all the soccer fields together here in this city. We do the championship baseball here at MTSU. The games coming into the championship are done at all the high schools, and they do such a super job keeping their facilities. And just how close each school is to MTSU is a big advantage. We've been to other cities before, and the baseball especially had to be spread out miles away from the main headquarters, and you don't want something like that. And again, they've redone the track here. The track facility here is so nice. It's just hard to ask for much more than what Murfreesboro gives us and what MTSU does for us.
Now, your football championships are done in Cookeville, right?
Right now they're done in Cookeville, but again in 2017 that bid will be up. I don't know whether Murfreesboro will bid on it or not, but we think they probably will, just like Cookeville probably will, and that's just something that staff has to look at, and then the board has to make the final decision.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I believe there's some discussions going on now about the classification system or the divisions as far as athletics are concerned.
Yeah, the private-public, that's always been a discretion. We have a Division II. If schools are in Division II, they can give need-based financial assistance. We have private schools that are in D1 that cannot give need-based financial assistance, but some public schools feel there's still an advantage that private schools have, and they would like for them to be in a separate classification. All the independent schools in one class, and basically, one classification, and all the public schools in the other. That vote will be done in July, but it would not go into effect until after this classification, no matter how they vote, whether they split or not.
So the TSSAA Board of Control will determine that?
Legislative Council actually determines that. We have a Legislative Council, and then we have a board. Legislative Council makes the decisions of how many divisions we have.
All right. Does that then have to be voted on by the board?
No. They would say that, and then the board would determine how many classes we had.
I see.
So if they say we have 2 divisions, independent schools over here and public schools over here, then they would come back and then decide how many classes each division would have. The board does that.
So both of those bodies are composed of volunteers, I presume?
They are elected positions, and they have to be an administrator of a school.
Okay. They're not paid employees. They're not staff.
No, they're not staff. They are basically principals and heads of schools that are voted by their members, their school members that are in their area.
Who heads the Legislative Council?
Legislative Council, Dan Black. Dan's out of West Tennessee.
Okay.
And Mike Reed is the board chair, and he's out of East Tennessee.
Okay. So we have from different divisions of the state there.
Yes, we divide the state into 9 districts, and all 9 districts are across the state and are equally
3 and 3.
That is correct.
West, Middle, and East Tennessee.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about yourself. You're from Clarksville?
I'm from Clarksville. I've grown up there. I started out in Houston County as an administrator and a coach, and I went from there to Montgomery County as a coach, and then became an administrator. And before I went to TSSAA, I was the county AD for Clarksville-Montgomery County School System, and I've been with TSSAA for 5 years.
Okay. Tell us exactly what your job consists of, or a few details.
I oversee football, track, and cross country, and oversee all the middle schools. And then I help the lady that sets up all our championships to basically do the contract.
The gun is up for the start of the race.
Well, Richard, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate Richard McWhirter, who is the Assistant Executive Director of TSSAA, and Barbara Wolke, Vice President for the Convention Visitors Bureau for the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us for Murfreesboro Storytellers.